All right, so in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you guys how to create a reseller account in WHM cPanel. So the first thing we want to do is we want to access our WHM cPanel. What you need to do is you can access it via the IP address, and then you have the column, and then the 2087. And then from there, you just type in your username and password. I already have mine right here. So I'm going to log into it. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to create a package. Um, so let's say we create a package right now. So we just have to go on the left-hand side corner where the search bar is located at. You can type in create. Okay, so there's add a package right here. All right, so on that area right there, you can just type in, let's say reseller. I'll put reseller test one. And then you can set up how many gigs you want to give your customers. Normally, the first reseller account you could give them about, I would say, 50 gigabytes or 10 gigabytes, whatever your package and your pricing. That's going to be based on whatever you want to actually price your package and how much disk space you have. You have totally fully control on that. I would say I'll put mine's right here is 50 gigabytes, so that's about 5,000 megabytes. All right. So um, you can also oh, so yeah, it's about 50,000 megabytes. Sorry. All right. So 50,000 megabytes. All right, so that's about 50,000. All right, so and the same thing with bandwidth, you could give them unlimited. They're not really going to be able to use much bandwidth, especially smaller websites could probably hardly use like 5 gigabytes a month or 30 gigabytes a month when they have a little bit higher traffic. All right, so normally when you have a dedicated server, you normally get your dedicated server with unlimited bandwidth already comes with the package from your dedicated provider, dedicated server provider. Now you could give them how many accounts from here. You could just leave the unlimited add-on domains. That's okay because cPanel doesn't charge you per unlimited add-on domains. They only charge you per additional domain name or cPanel accounts. So one cPanel account can have 100 add-on domain names, but that depending on your packages. So just leave that for your reseller to make that decision, and that doesn't really affect as much when it comes to add-on domain names because you won't have you can just terminate one account, which is their main account, and everything gets wiped out under that cPanel account if they have like multiple domain names in there. All right, so you can assign a dedicated IP address for them automatically on their account. If you don't want to, then you can just leave that thing blank. Um, the max hourly email. Now, if you want to restrict them from actually having like spams and all that stuff, like normally sometimes there's some customers that will just abuse your server. They will send out about like 10,000 emails in an hour. So you might want to give them like maybe 100 to I would say max 300 an hour, right? Then we create this package right here, reseller test one. You can change the language also right here in this area, depending on what type of language your customer prefers. And then you can just add the package. All right, so we had successfully created the package. Now what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and go to create an account. So there's a little couple more steps on it that we're not done yet. So as we can go here where we can type in the search bar says create. Right there it says create a new account, or you could go to home. You can press the home button, and then same exact thing right here. You can click on that one, and it'll also like create an account. So there's both shortcuts that you could go back to creating an account. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is just say we create the domain name is reseller1.com. And normally it will fill in like the username right away. Reseller test one. All right, so that one right there, it fill in the username, or you can create a custom name for them if they requested a custom username. Then the password, of course, you're gonna have to make sure that it's five in characters long, and then of course there's gonna be some stronger password with capital letters, and some other uh, strongest like asterisk and all that stuff. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna create password. All right, so that one right there, it's all green, and then the email address. So you could just type in the email address, um, whatever email address you want to create. Of course, you can leave that blank if you don't want to, but you can actually put an email address right there. Uh, Choose a package. So we're gonna choose the package right there. Normally, we could just type in the reseller test one right there. All right, so there's also the select manual options. So if just in case you want to give them more space for the disk space originally from the package that you actually already created, you could change it from here. If not, just leave it the way it was. All right. And then once we scroll down, change the language if you need to change the language for another customer. And then right there it says on bottom, it says reseller setting. You can make the reseller setting. And then this is the one where it says make account own itself. This is normally like you're not gonna be able to see this account as your own under your WHM, but you can still terminate that under accounts when you start looking for them. But a lot of times, your reseller or customer wants to make sure that they see their main account under their name, under their WHM. I'm sorry. So when they access it, you're like, oh, what? Well, I can't see my cPanel, my domain name, that I signed up. So you want to make sure that you can just say make the account on itself, so that way it doesn't give you a lot of trouble, like trying to fix it later on again. Um, you know, Having them open a sport ticket for something simple. So just leave it like that. It's not gonna cost you anything, or it's not gonna make it any difficult for you. So just leave it like that. You can also custom overwrite the DNS server. So if you want them to have their own DNS server, it will create it automatically if you click this one right here, overwrite an existing. I'm sorry, overwrite existing DNS zone for the account, which is if they had transferred somewhere else, um, you wanna select this, okay, or just leave it blank. It'll probably be a best way to do it, because later on you're gonna create the private name servers for them either way. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and create this. All right, so that account has been created. Now that we created the account, we can go back. You can copy this whole entire information. You can send it to your reseller, so that way they will be able to access your server. So from there, that's the only information they need. Okay. All right. So now we need to edit the ACL on it. So on ACL, we're gonna have to go to um, edit. Go back to the left-hand side corner of the search bar, and then we type in edit. Now we have to look for edit reseller name servers and privileges. That's what we want to do. So from there, we could go ahead and look for the reseller one that we created. So right here, we created the account, and then we hit the submit. It's taking a little longer for some reason. All right, so we're already here. So if you notice right here, you can give them a specific amount of accounts that they can only create. Let's say if you limit them for 50 accounts on your basic plan, then you're gonna have to put the 50 right there. Limit accounts that a reseller can create by resource. Also, you can select that. You can give them the amount of disk space, but this is already included in the package, so you don't need to mess around with that. You can also allow your reseller to like use a specific package. If you already created a package, that will give them a super privilege. If you do ever give them, you know, your own package. All right. So limit the amount of accounts reseller can create per package. You can also do that. So let's say because you give them like in a specific amount. So let's say I have all these packages already here that they can access. So that's technically what it is. And then you could like number of allowed. So depending on what you want to do. So I will leave this blank because you don't want them to be accessing somebody else's packages or your own packages because that will give you some issues later to know like which account does this account belongs to. All right, so this is the ACL list right here. So if you already created an ACL list, which is technically, I would assume that you guys haven't created one. This is one thing that you want to create. So all of these right here, just take a look at it. You can just click all that right there, and it will create this because this is very important access that your reseller needs from their WHM. They don't have anything here yet. So if you notice right here, so we're gonna go ahead and click on this one, account information, list an account, view an account bandwidth. You want to give them the access, which is standard. It tells you even right here on the right hand side. Account management. So you want them to be able to manage their own account, so they can create an account, terminate an account, suspend account, upgrade, downgrade, SSL site management, purchase SSL, all that stuff. The cPanel has a plugin that they install on themselves, like people can buy their own SSL, which is a lot of times I would not want to give credit to cPanel. They're making money off of your own customers, so you want them to actually buy from your website rather than buying from somewhere else. But cPanel already comes with free SSL for everybody, so I highly doubt anybody wants to buy SSL nowadays. Uh, Not unless they're a true business or like a big corporation that they want to make sure that they're 100% secured and they bought it from a reputable company with the SSL because they want an SSL EV, which is gives them like protection. It's like a insurance type of deal. All right, so you can actually disable the SSL purchase here when you create a cPanel, but that's going to be, I'm not going to be talking about that because that's a totally different topic. But there's an option that you can, not let your customer buy directly from cPanel if you want to buy an actual SSL certificate. All right, so the DNS, you want them to have access on DNS also because this is the part where a lot of the customer or client needs to be able to like edit or change DNS settings for their domain name or domain extensions. Okay, so give them all of that, and then the packages. You want them to be able to create new packages and edit new packages. So you create. You have to click on both of them as well. Third party services, manage third party service. This one right here, you don't want to give them access to, let's say, CSF. Um, Firewall. So those are third party uh, services, and they'll be able to edit and all that stuff. So troubleshoot. You don't want them to troubleshoot their own mail delivery check. Um, if you want to give them access. But I don't really like to give um, you know access to it because there's a lot of things that they might be complicated for them, or it might give you some issues with your own server. The news notification, you don't want this because the news notification, you can modify you know their own accounts, the reseller. But you could give them this because this is also a good option. But I normally just leave this thing blank. Allow creations with shell access. This one right here, this is a package privilege. So like shell access is normally like SSH to cPanel accounts where they can easily like you do a git command, downloading from a source file just directly to their htdocs or HTML area. So at least they don't need to like upload and FTP from there. They could just do git commands using the patty or SSH. Allow creation accounts with shell access. That's what it is. Okay, so just be careful when you're giving this access because there might be times that they can actually hack into the main account on it if you don't have your security um, or yeah, if you don't have your security well put up. All right, you need to make sure you secure their server first before allowing anybody to be able to use shell access. All right, so packages. This is the packages were almost similar to the first one right here, which is the specify which package. That's technically giving them almost all the access from there. So this is a super privilege, and you don't want to give that package. Okay. All right. So this one right here, create package creation, create with add-on domains, allow, and then create packages with Spark domains. Create this one right here. You can give them some certain access, but don't let them create dedicated. Create with chill access. You don't want to give them that. Create package with unlimited features. For example, like email accounts and all that stuff. Okay, that's gonna be depends on what exactly you want to give them or not. That is totally up to you if you want them to actually be able to create that. But that one, that's not a problem. You can give them the access. Create package with custom emails. Yes, you can do that. You can give them that. Create package with unlimited disk usage. Now, if you're actually giving or offering unlimited accounts, they can create unlimited disk usage to their account. But if not, just leave that thing blank if you're not so sure about it. Um, all right, so yeah, so that's one thing you don't want to give them if you're not too sure. Okay. All right, so unlimited, we'll give them that. The only thing you don't want to give is the shell access and the dedicated IP address. Now, third-party services, again, this is for the reseller UI. So technically, like this is the third-party reseller UI. I think we might have missed something here. A minute. All right. So yeah. So that's okay. So we are actually right. All right. So all right. So server information. If you want them to actually know where exactly um, what's the what's the current disk space of the server, if the server is actually already about to load up. You can give them that access, but I normally would not, because you will get a bunch of tickets saying, "Hey, the server disk space is about to be full," and which is, you already know about it because you've been doing your server admin stuff. And when the server disk space is about to get full, you can always upgrade the disk space or switch it up a little bit with more hard drive. Okay, so don't worry about it. If you got terabytes of hard drive, 1 terabyte of hard drive, it's almost impossible anybody could finish them up. Now, unless you also use the same exact server to back up all the backups that's needed for this account. So you can click that. I wouldn't. I would leave that just the way it is. And then the services, restart services, you don't want them to actually restart anything from the server. So you definitely don't want to give them that. Troubleshoot, resync, FTP. You don't want to give them that, because that's also troubleshooting the server. Account management, account modification, edit accounts. You want to give them this because um, on the packages itself, it does not allow them to edit their own packages. They have to delete it and recreate a new one. So you want them to be able to give them this type of access, and we go from there. Okay, so that way they don't need to open a ticket and say, "Hey, I can't edit the packages I have." So just try to give them that. Don't be so greedy about it, because this will save you a lot of time when it comes to um, giving support. All right, so advanced managed account, you don't want to give them that. The clustering, this is the DNS. This is a lot more complicated than what it is. The clustering is having multiple servers using the same exact DNS name servers. So you have server one, server two, server three, server four, server five. That's technically saying, okay, so I have 5 servers, and I want to connect every single server to the same exact NS1 that optimalgeek.com, NS2 that optimalgeek.com, NS3 that optimalgeek.com. So even if you move around your customers, or you're trying to upgrade your server, they wouldn't even notice that you're actually upgrading your server, because they will be always live all the time, even though you already turned off the old server and you already got them moved to the new server. But that's something in advance. If you guys like this video, and I'll get more than, let's say, 3,000, uh, uh, maybe 50,000 views, I will create that, and how to cluster 5 servers in one settings with the DNS, so that way nobody knows that you actually went and upgraded your server, um, and you move them around. So that's technically will save you a bunch of headache from people saying, "Hey, my server is down. I can't, access my server, or I can't see my account." So that's the best route. Advanced DNS clustering. I'm sorry. All right, locale. This is where they can create their own news. Okay, so I won't give them the access to it. Everything, which is, this is the full root access. So definitely you don't want to give them that. Now, this is the part where you can actually go ahead and give them, their private name servers. So the domain name itself was reseller test one.com. So what we can do is, all right. So what we can do is go ahead and go from there. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Reseller. So and this one, same exact thing as, you know. Um, what? Now this is where we got paused. All right, so technically that's where you actually put it in, and then you just hit the save button right there. My video is actually kind of acting up. Once you hit save, make sure you save the whole entire thing also on the ACL. All right, hold on. There's back. So there it is. So you have to make sure that you save the ACL. So let's say you create a new ACL. Um, Creating new ACL. Let's say you created whatever the package was. Let's say if it's reseller, then you put reseller. So every time when you create a new package, automatically this is going to be the new ACL. So if you're creating a package in WHM or on your billing system, you just have to put this ACL right there, and automatically you don't even need to touch anything from here to create all this mess right here again. So that's the only time that you actually have to create it, reseller, and then you hit this one right here to create the name servers, and then you configure the IP address if you have, whatever the IP address was. So in this one, the reseller test one.com. So let's say you configure right there. So you notice it doesn't have an IP. So whatever the first IP you have, just have to type it in. So like whatever type IP. So this one right here, it's just the first IP 192.1.99.201.26, and then you just click the configure address record. Okay. But I'm not gonna go to that because that's the only really thing that you need to do. And as simple as button like click and it will create it from there. And then once all that saved, your reseller already has a private name server created automatically. Or you could just have them use your main name servers. But they're always going to be asking you later on to create them a private name server. So I highly suggest you already create them automatically. So once we hit save, so that right there, modified, uh, that's already been created. Now the account is going to be able to access it. So let's try it. So right there, so we can log out from here in the main account, and then let's try it out. So we're gonna log in. I should be able to log in. There it is. So successfully log in. So as we can see on the side right here, we have create. Okay, so the ACL didn't look like it got saved. So we're gonna have to go back, try to save it. If you find there's an issue, that's the ACL didn't work. So we just have to go back. All right, so we're gonna have to go back, log in. Good thing that this had an error, because later on a lot of you guys would have this issue, and you don't need to come back and forth and say, hey, it didn't work for me. And how do you actually fix this? Because when I log in, there's no create button. So what you have to do is you need to get back to your ACL. From your ACL, that's where you actually have to edit, edit the server privileges. Why am I not able to log in? Okay, so it was wrong password. All right, so take a while authenticating. Just try to refresh this. So it looks like it got stuck. All right, so there it is. I have to type in the correct password. Just have in mind, guys, whenever you actually try to access your own server, um, and you type it in a couple times, see, like right now, um, it actually blocked me from the firewall already, because when you type in several times, several attempts, this is normally what you will see. The only way for you guys to be able to get this thing fixed is you need to actually um, access the server with your cell phone maybe, and then just flush the firewall from there. Hold on, let me just try to flash this, because this is technically on server that's happening some issues. So token is missing. All right. All right. So we're back. All right. So ACL. So edit the reseller. Go back to edit name server and reseller privilege. Reseller test. All right, so that one right there, and then we click submit. Um, So if you had the ACL saved, the one that you created earlier, it looks like mine's thing got saved. So basically the same exact way earlier. So I'm gonna just click one of the ones I actually recreated, and look, I already filled in all that blanks that is needed to be filled in. Okay, and then we can save. If you haven't created one, like I said, right there, or say save a selection, you just create a name for it that you're gonna be using, and then we'll go from there. And then save all settings. Then you're good to go. Then we just have to verify. So just have to verify with it. It already actually got the ACL. So it looks like everything has been filled in. As we can see right here, now we can log out from here and just verify that its reseller account is able to create the account. Like my IP is keep on getting blocked. So all right, so right there, seller test, and log in. It could be my internet connection has been messing up also, um, especially around this time. Gets a little bit crowded. Everybody's trying to use the internet, and it conflicts the channels and all that stuff. So, anyways, that thing logged me out. Oh, wait. Okay. Reseller test right there. All right, so there it is. So you can now create an account right there. You could add a package and list an account. So that's where it is, okay? And you see like how we created the domain name, the package earlier that says own the domain right there. The reseller owns its own account. So they can access also and see their own cPanel from their main account. All right, guys. So that is it. If you have any questions, comments, uh, please do comment below. Um, any questions, please do comment below. If you like this video, please go ahead and subscribe, like, and turn on your notification bell. Thank you.